The year was 2074. Earth was silent that night. A small crew of 5 astronauts floated quietly inside the spacecraft Orion's Reach, staring at the giant gray face of the moon through the window. They were part of the first human team to explore the far side of the moon, the side that never faces Earth. Captain Leena Morrow, 39, had trained her whole life for this moment. Calm, sharp, and brave, she had led missions to Mars and the orbital stations. But this one was different. Something about this mission felt secret. NASA hadn't told them everything. The mission files were locked until they reached lunar orbit. And when they opened the encrypted files, silence filled the room. A single image appeared on screen, a high-resolution photo from an old satellite. It showed something strange. Deep in the shadows of a massive crater was a structure. It was not natural. It looked like a city. Leena zoomed in. Towers, walls, geometric patterns, roads. Nothing human had ever been built on the moon, nothing that Earth remembered, anyway. Dr. Malik Cho, the mission geologist, spoke first. This isn't a rock formation. No one disagreed. Their orders were clear. Land near the crater, investigate, and report only to command. No broadcasts, no sharing with the public. The crater's name was Diana's Hollow, but it had never been visited. It was hidden in permanent shadow. Sunlight never touched it. Temperatures there were colder than deep space. They landed at the edge of the crater. The lander touched down with a soft thud. Dust rose like slow-moving smoke in the low gravity. The team prepared for descent. They wore heavy thermal suits, carried oxygen packs, and walked in slow, heavy steps across the crater rim. Then they saw it. Not in photos, not on screen. With their own eyes. The city was real. Below them, partly buried in ice and dust, were towers taller than Earth buildings. They were black and smooth, reflecting no light. Some had collapsed. Others stood perfectly still, as if frozen in time. No windows, no lights, just silence. "Who built this?" whispered Nadia, the team's tech engineer. No one answered. They climbed down into the crater, carefully scanning with drones and sensors. Their boots crunched on frozen dust. Leena's helmet buzzed. A signal. "We're picking up energy readings," said Malik, coming from the largest tower. That tower was in the center. It rose from the crater floor like a spike, almost perfectly round, with narrow grooves running down its sides. It was untouched by dust, as if something invisible had cleaned it. The crew stood before it, and then the door opened. No one touched it. No one triggered anything. The black wall simply slid open with a low hum, revealing a tunnel glowing with faint blue light. "Should we go in?" asked Nadia. Leena didn't wait. She stepped inside. The air was still. It was warmer than outside. The walls were smooth, covered in strange lines and symbols that pulsed softly, like breathing. They walked down the tunnel. Inside, the place felt alive. The farther they walked, the more the symbols glowed. Some formed patterns in the air, like floating holograms. A soft vibration ran through the floor. They reached a chamber. It was wide, round, and tall like a cathedral. In the center was a structure shaped like a chair, or a throne, but it wasn't empty. A figure sat there, not human. It was tall and thin, with long limbs and pale skin like marble. Its eyes were closed. It wore a suit of smooth, dark metal, not armor, not cloth, something in between. Wires ran from the floor into its back. "Is it alive?" asked Malik. They stepped closer. Then its eyes opened. They were white and glowing. It looked at each of them slowly, then raised one hand. The ground shook. Lights exploded across the walls. Symbols danced in the air. The blue glow turned red. Something deep below them began to pulse, like a heartbeat. The figure spoke, but not with words. Each of them heard a voice inside their mind. Calm, ancient, deep. "You are not the first." Leena froze. "What do you mean?" she said aloud. The voice replied, "You have forgotten." "But we remember." The chamber trembled. A hidden wall slid open behind the throne, revealing a spiral staircase leading down into the depths of the moon. The figure stood. "Come, you must see." The crew stared, unsure whether to run or follow. But something pulled at them. Not fear, curiosity. A strange feeling like they were supposed to be here. Leena took the first step down. As they followed the being deeper underground, the walls changed. They saw carvings, images of stars, planets, Earth itself, and people, human-looking people. But older, different, too advanced. Some of the scenes showed ships, not space shuttles, more like enormous glowing disks flying between worlds. Others showed destruction, fire raining from the sky, cities falling. And then, the moon. They reached a lower chamber. What they saw made their hearts stop. Dozens of glass pods, inside each one a figure like the one upstairs, sleeping, unmoving, preserved. The being turned to them. They will awaken soon. The cycle begins again. What cycle? Leena asked. It pointed to the ceiling. A map of the solar system glowed above them. Earth, Mars, Jupiter. Then a ring formed around Earth, bright red. When the red ring returns, Earth must choose again. Before anyone could ask what it meant, the being raised its hand. The city around them shifted. The walls changed shape. The tunnels moved. The chamber behind them was gone. They were locked inside. Then they heard something else, a second signal. Not from Earth, from somewhere far beyond the moon. And it was getting closer. The signal grew louder, not in their ears, but in their minds. A high-pitched pulse that made their skulls vibrate. The 5 astronauts stood frozen in the glowing chamber, surrounded by sleeping beings in glass pods. Captain Leena Morrow looked at her team. Their faces were pale. Even Malik, always calm, was shaking. "What is that sound?" Nadia asked, covering her ears even though it didn't help. The being, the one who had led them down, stood still. Its eyes glowed white, watching them, as if waiting. Then the sound stopped. Silence. A red light filled the chamber. One by one, the glass pods around them flickered to life. Symbols blinked. Tubes hissed. Inside each pod, the tall beings began to stir. Nadia stepped back. "They're waking up." Malik whispered, "This isn't a ruin. This is a base." Leena looked at the being again. "What do you mean the cycle begins again? What is the red ring?" The being raised its arm. A soft, blue beam shone from its palm. In the air, a memory played like a video. They saw Earth, not as it was now, but long ago, lush, full of strange, glowing forests. Cities built into the sides of cliffs and floating above oceans. People walked the streets wearing clothes made of light. The moon was close, but not barren. It was alive, with rivers, air, and green lands. A second world. Then came the ring. Red and glowing, it wrapped around Earth like fire. They saw fear in the eyes of the moon's people. Ships launched. Cities were buried. Pods were sealed. And the Earth burned. The image ended. Leena's voice cracked. When was this? The being said one word, slowly, inside their minds before. Quote, "Before what Malik asked, but the being didn't answer. Instead, the ground shook again. Far above them, something crashed, the sound of rock breaking, metal screeching. Then the voice of Houston Command came through their helmets, broken and static-filled. This is Houston, ZZZZT, come in Mayday, repeat unidentified object, moon impact, ZZZZT. The signal died. Something just hit the moon, Nadia said. Leena turned to the stairs. We need to get back to the lander, now. But the spiral stairs were gone. Only a wall remained. The being turned to them. You brought the signal. Now others will follow. Leena felt cold. What others? Before it could answer, the red light in the chamber turned darker. Alarms sounded. Even the tall beings inside the pods began to move. Some opened their eyes. Others rose. Malik stared. This is not a museum. This is an ark. The being nodded slowly. They were left to guard. Now they must choose. Choose what? Leena shouted. Are we in danger? The being stepped toward her. Its voice was heavy with sorrow. Only Earth as the crew looked at each other. Something terrible was happening. Something old. Something they had awakened. Suddenly a soft light appeared behind them. A doorway. The being pointed. Go. The city has spoken. They ran through the doorway. The tunnel led them upward, but not back the way they came. This one was smoother, warmer. Symbols glowed as they passed. The air became thinner. Finally, they reached the surface. But it wasn't the same crater. They were on a different side of the city now. Their lander was gone. Above them, the moon sky had changed. A dark shadow blocked part of the stars. A giant ship. Not human. Black and red, shaped like a claw, it floated silently above the city. No lights, no sound. Then, from its underbelly, dozens of small orbs dropped. Fast. Straight toward the city. The ground shook again as the orbs slammed into the towers, breaking through walls. The moon city woke. Lights blazed across the ruins. Towers lit up. Shields rose. Drones flew from hidden doors. A war was beginning, and they were standing in the middle of it. "We need to move!" Leena shouted. They ran, ducking behind stone arches and fallen columns as explosions lit the sky. One orb exploded nearby, throwing Malik to the ground. He was bleeding from his helmet. Nadia dragged him to cover. "What is that thing?" she asked, breathing hard. Leena looked up at the ship. "I think that's what the ring really is. Not a storm. Not radiation. A machine." "A machine?" Nadia asked. Leena nodded. "A machine that comes back. The red ring." It wasn't fire or energy. It was a warning, an invasion, a memory that Earth had forgotten, but the moon had not, and now it had returned. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the air, deep and cold, not the voice from the being. This one was mechanical. Empty Cycle 7 initiated. Earth target confirmed. Cleansing protocol. Active. Leena felt sick. It was counting. And Earth was next. A blue light appeared beside them. One of the tall beings stepped from the shadows. Not the one they had met before. A new one. Its armor was cracked. One arm was missing, but its eyes burned bright. It held out a small sphere, glowing blue, pulsing. "Take it," it said, memory key. Earth must remember. "What does it do?" Leena asked. "It holds the truth." Explosions echoed again. The chip above opened more doors, more orbs, more weapons, more death. Leena grabbed the sphere. The being stepped back into the light and raised its hand. A dome rose around them, a shield of blue energy. Behind it, the city fought back. Laser towers rose. Drones exploded in the sky. Giant machines climbed from the crater walls, covered in dust and moon ice, walking like beasts made of stone and light. The war for the moon had begun, and Earth had no idea. But Leena knew one thing. They had to get back. Not just to survive, but to warn everyone. Before the red ring reached home, the shield flickered with every impact. Outside it, war filled the moon's silent sky. No sound, but still it felt loud. Explosions, flashes, ships crashing like stars falling. Captain Leena Morrow gripped the blue sphere tight. It pulsed like a heartbeat in her hand. Warm, alive. "What do we do with it?" Nadia asked. She was kneeling beside Malik, who was barely conscious. Leena stared at the sphere. "Get it to Earth." Nadia looked up at the massive alien ship floating above the crater. How the tall being, the one-armed warrior who had given them the sphere, stepped forward. "There is a gate," it said away back. Leena's eyes narrowed. "A gate to Earth. To orbit. Your ship." "But our ship's on the other side of the city," Nadia said. "Not anymore." The being turned. Behind it, a new tunnel had opened in the rock. Smooth, glowing, different from the others, like a living wound in the stone. "Come. The gate will close soon." Leena helped Nadia lift Malik. The three of them followed the being into the tunnel. As they moved deeper, the air grew warmer, charged like static. The walls rippled like water when they passed. Behind them, the soundless war raged on. Leena looked back once, towers falling, red ships attacking, the moon city burning and fighting. She turned away. They had to survive. They reached a large chamber. In the center stood a tall arch, black as obsidian, with symbols spinning across it. It wasn't metal. It wasn't stone. It looked like something pulled from a dream. The being raised its hand. The arch lit up. A swirling blue portal opened inside it, showing stars and darkness. Earth's orbit. Their ship. Orion's Reach. Nadia gasped. It's a portal. The being nodded. It only opens for those who carry memory. Leena stepped toward the gate, spheres still glowing in her hand. But then, another crash. Behind them, the tunnel exploded. A red orb came rolling in. Its surface cracked, glowing hot. It sprouted legs and arms, like a spider made of knives. A single red eye blinked in its center. Cleansing in progress, it said. The being didn't hesitate. It stepped in front of the team, run. Quote, the spider drone leapt. The being caught it in midair, wrestling it back. Sparks flew, metal screeched. The being roared, shoving the drone into the wall. The team ran. Leena helped Nadia carry Malik through the portal. Light swallowed them whole. For a moment. Silence. Then they landed. Inside Orion's Reach. The ship's lights were dim. Systems were cold. Emergency beacons blinked. Nadia dropped to the floor, breathing hard. Malik groaned. He was alive, but fading fast. Leena rushed to the command deck. She touched the console. Nothing. The systems didn't respond. Then, the sphere in her hand glowed brighter. It floated from her palm and slid into a round slot on the dashboard. A hidden one they'd never noticed before. The ship lit up. All systems came online. The engines hummed. The screen blinked. And then, something unexpected. A new map appeared. Not from NASA. From the moon. It showed Earth, but different. A pattern. The red ring, forming again, not just in the sky. Around satellites. Systems. Power grids. It was technological. A signal. Slowly, taking over Earth's machines. Nadia stared. It's already started. Leena pointed to a blinking dot. That's the source. It's transmitting from the dark side. From the city. Quote, they didn't need to guess what it was doing. It was trying to turn Earth's own systems against itself. They had to warn someone, anyone. But the ship's comms didn't reach Earth directly from that orbit. Too far. They needed a boost. Nadia had an idea. The lunar relay tower. It's abandoned, but if we fly low, we might be able to bounce a message through. Leena didn't hesitate. They launched. Orion's Reach lifted above the moon, engines roaring. The ship was fast, too fast for its design. The sphere was doing something to the systems, enhancing them. As they neared the relay tower, more red ships broke the surface of the moon, launching toward orbit. The invasion had begun. But they weren't focused on the astronauts. Not yet. Leena brought the ship low. Get that message out. Nadia plugged into the tower. Static. Buzzing. Then, finally, connection. She transmitted the memory key. Everything. The city. The beings. The red ring. The warning. She sent it all. Then the screen blinked. A response. Not from NASA. From someone else. A small station in low Earth orbit. A private one. Civilian. But the signal was clear. A woman's voice came through. We see you. We got the data. We're listening. Then, silence. The signal dropped. A red beam shot past them, just missing the ship. One of the red orbs had locked on. Leena spun the controls. Orion's Reach dove. But another shot hit the left wing. The ship spun out of control. Malik moaned in the back. Leena screamed over the alarms. Hold on! They were falling, toward the moon. But just before impact, the sphere inside the console glowed bright white. A shockwave burst from the ship, and everything went dark. When Leena opened her eyes, she was lying on a cold floor. Inside a white room, Earth gravity, a clean bed, monitors, a large glass window showing clouds. She was alive. Someone stepped into the room. A tall man in a dark suit. Not military, not NASA. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Captain Morrow, he said. You've been unconscious for 6 days. Welcome back. Leena sat up slowly. Her body ached. Where's my team? They're safe. Recovering. The memory key is being studied. Leena stared at him. You're not with NASA, are you? The man nodded slightly. No. We've been expecting the signal for a long time. Her heart sank. You knew. He leaned closer. There's more beneath the moon than you know. And you only saw part of it. He turned to leave. Leena stood, trembling. What happens now? The man stopped at the door. He looked back. Now, Captain, we prepare. Rain tapped gently on the window of the recovery room. Captain Leena Morrow stood in silence, looking at the clouds outside. Earth was calm, peaceful, but it wouldn't last. The man in the suit had left hours ago. No answers. Just warnings. Now, the door opened again. Nadia walked in, pale but awake, a bandage across her forehead. Behind her came Malik in a wheelchair, his arm in a sling. We're the only ones who made it back, Nadia said softly. Leena nodded. I know. Malik looked tired. His voice was low. I heard the signal is spreading. Quietly. Nobody's saying anything. Leena turned toward them. They knew. Whoever those people are, they've known for years. Nadia sat down. Then why send us? To see if the city would respond, Leena said. To see if the moon would choose us again. None of them spoke for a while. Then Malik asked the question they all feared. Is Earth next? Leena looked out the window again. Yes. 2 weeks later, they were brought to a hidden underground facility. It wasn't NASA. It wasn't military. It was something older. Built deep beneath a mountain. Dozens of people worked there, watching satellite feeds, decoding symbols from the memory key, scanning Earth's atmosphere. They called it the archives. Inside a private chamber, Leena was shown something, a device. Round, black, about the size of a basketball, covered in the same glowing symbols from the moon. It's not ours, the technician said. It was found in 1973 during a failed moon mission, kept secret. Until now, we never knew how to activate it. Leena touched it. The device responded instantly, lighting up. Then it spoke. Cycle 1, complete. Cycle 2, incomplete. Cycle 7, active. Malik leaned in 7 cycles. How many have ended in disaster? 6, Leena said quietly. The technician showed them more. Each time the ring appeared, ancient systems buried under Earth's oceans, deserts, and poles activated. Warning signs. Buried cities. Forgotten defense systems. Earth wasn't just attacked. It was part of something much bigger. A test. And the red ring? It was a scanning net. It searched for life, technology, weakness. And now it was fully formed. 3 days later, it happened. Above Earth, hundreds of red orbs appeared in orbit, just like the ones that attacked the moon. They hovered near satellites, communication lines, power stations. Earth's governments panicked. But the orbs didn't attack. Not yet. They waited. And then, a signal came through. Not on any known frequency. The same voice Leena had heard inside her mind. Mechanical. Cold. Certain Cycle 7 final phase. Earth has 10 rotations to respond. Submit or be cleansed. The world reacted with fear. Some leaders denied it. Others prepared for war. But nothing could touch the orbs. Missiles passed through them like air. Leena stood before a council of world leaders, the memory sphere glowing in her hand. You don't understand, she said. This isn't an invasion. It's a judgment, a woman from the UN asked. What do they want? Leena looked at the glowing map behind her, Earth wrapped in red. They want to know if we're worth saving. Silence. Then someone said, and if we're not? Leena's voice didn't shake. They erase us. Just like before. In the following days, strange things began to happen. Old machines powered on in remote places. Symbols appeared on cave walls. People in small villages spoke of dreams, of glowing eyes, of towers on the moon. The moon city had awakened something. And Earth was responding. Then, on the final day, the sky changed. Above the Pacific Ocean, a giant black ring appeared, slowly spinning. Not a ship. A gate. A second red fleet arrived through it, larger, faster, more powerful than the first. But before they could descend, the moon answered. Blue lights lit up in the night sky. Beams of energy launched from the far side of the moon. Shields surrounded key points on Earth. Tower-like structures, once buried under oceans and deserts, rose again, powered by the ancient technology now reactivated through the memory key. The Moon City had sent help. Leena watched from the command deck of Orion's Reach, now upgraded and hovering above Earth. She looked at Malik and Nadia, now suited up beside her. This is it, she said, Earth's choice. They launched into the fight. The battle lasted 6 hours. Light clashed with shadow. The red machines were faster, but the blue towers on Earth fought back. For every city destroyed, another rose from the ruins, glowing with ancient energy. Humans, working with moon tech, activated defense systems never meant for this age. And in the final hour, the being from the moon appeared again, this time above Earth. Not a hologram, a true form. Its voice echoed across every signal on the planet. The memory has returned. The cycle is broken. Earth chooses life. The Red Fleet stopped, then slowly vanished. One by one, the ships folded into the black gate and disappeared. The gate closed. The ring faded. The sky cleared. And the world, once again, was quiet. 1 month later, Leena stood on the moon again. The city was quiet, still, but not empty. It watched and waited. She placed the blue sphere back on the throne, where it began. The symbols around her lit up once more, softly this time, not as a warning, as a welcome. Behind her, Nadia spoke. So what now? Leena smiled. Now we remember.